Okay, so just loading in to game 2. This is going to be on Echo. As we know, Radiowaves took the first game with, a pretty average, to be honest, Roach Hydra push. So let's see what happens in the second game. Here we are in the bottom right. We have, oh hello, what is this? In the bottom right, Deathlake has decided not to play Protoss, but to play Zerg. Smash him. Up in the top left, Radiowaves is still, playing Zerg. As he does. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this is going to pan out. We've got a ZVZ. We haven't seen much ZVZ in this tournament, I don't think. So Deathlake looks like he is opening up hatch first, and that's fine. I don't mind hatch first ever, really, to be honest. Radiowaves sent this worker across the map very early indeed. That can surely only mean one thing. That can only mean a proxy hatch. That isn't something that we've seen so far in the tournament, I don't think. Not that I can remember, but I think we're about to see it. And there it is, boom. A proxy hatch on the other side of the map. Look at the position of this Overlord on its way across the map to do some scouting. It is going to take a very long time to get there. By the time it arrives, this hatch is up and running. The spawning pool, I expect, is going to drop sometime now. Spawning pool. And spawning pool. And spawning pool. Okay. Now that is pretty lit compared to Deathlake. So let's see what happens here. Deathlake has mined a bit of gas. He is ahead in terms of gas. His pull is finished. This could go badly for Radiowaves. If Deathlake decides to get a large swell of speedlings up as soon as he can, they will be out long before Radiowaves can have, a similar number. So it just depends. If Radiowaves decides to push hard with a lot of lings before speed is finished, then he certainly potentially could win this. The point of the proxy hatches means your reinforcements get there an awful lot faster. So you've really got to be pushing hard. The other thing you can do is build queens from it and spread your creep and have spine crawlers and do a kind of spine crawler push. Now, spreading creep towards an opponent is great unless your opponent's a Zerg, because you don't gain any advantage from the creep. In the normal scheme of things, you get that advantage that your units go faster on creep. But obviously your opponent's units would also go faster. Now, did Radiowaves know? Did he know that Deathlake was playing Zerg? Did Deathlake actually choose Zerg, or did he simply choose random? And even if he did choose Zerg, if you don't look during the loading screen, you might not even notice. This Overlord is going to get away, 44 health. I would have been tempted to send this queen to here, because it only takes a couple more shots to do that in. And this early in the game, 3-minute mark, losing an Overlord is horrible. It is going to be roaches. It's going to be roaches from Radiowaves. Deathlake also has a roach warren building. So this is going to be very weird indeed. Deathlake unaware that his opponent is here, I think. Let's just check. Yeah, doesn't know about that. Radiowaves, meanwhile, doesn't know about the roach warren from his opponent. So I don't know how much information do they have about each other. Deathlake, his Overlord has stopped here, which is kind of okay. He gets to see what's coming out, and if he's been paying careful attention to the minimap, he will have seen these roaches walk past. If he was being pretty observant, that is. Now, 3 Overlords coming out at once, freeing up a nice bit of supply, essentially. Getting yourself a supply buffer is not an uncommon thing to do when you're going to be pushing roaches. Normally it's what you do just before the roach warren actually finishes, so that when it does finish you can then turn all of your larvae into roaches. But look, no, that's not what I wanted you to look at. Look, Deathlake now definitely knows that this proxy hatch is here. What is he going to do about it? Here come the lynx, here come the roaches. Home defender's advantage should be able to see this off. There is a number advantage in roaches with Deathlake. He is going to be able to see this off pretty handily. Now what does he do? Does he follow it up? There's nothing building here. There's no further roaches coming out. No spine crawlers either. You know, if you're going to do this, I'd love to have seen spine crawlers. Very clear. I do like the transfuse on the single roach. You know, get value from that roach, but there's just too much from Deathlake. I think this is it. Deathlake is going to take this game, surely. All he's got to do is hold down the R button. Lings will not be roaches. They just won't. So if Deathlake just keeps spitting on these hatches, keeps holding down the R button, he can kill this, he can kill these workers, and all this has been is an expense. All this has been is a hatch that you don't have at home anymore, Radiowaves. And that is going to be the outcome of this. Yeah, I'm clicking stuff left, right and centre. Yeah, so now that this is dead, you send all your units across the map. Send the lot and don't stop building. Never make that mistake. You know, continue to spit, continue to churn them out. Don't just sit back. You've got a significant advantage. Press that advantage. So, my goodness, how very interesting indeed. This drone going to lay down the hatch. So here we have a hatch building with an opponent's larva just going pop in front of it. Yeah, it is very hard to see a way back into this game for Radiowaves. Double Expo, not a bad plan, really. You know, you know that your opponent's got an expand. You know that you don't, so you know that you can't match him in terms of production. So what do? Drop a double hatch, and if he is foolish enough to leave you alone for long enough, you can get right back into the game. It's one way to go. The other alternative is to just pump out units, don't expand at all, and work on the assumption that having seen you off, that your opponent will sit back a bit and macro up and, you know, expand and invest in his own economy while you're just investing in straight up army. To be honest, that tends to be the more common practice, and that is always worth noting. If you hold an attack from somebody and you think to yourself, that attack looked pretty all in, I've got this now, do bear in mind, if your opponent has gone all in an attack like that and it hasn't worked, you know, think about what are their options now. What have I left them with? If I've left them with no option but to attack again and, you know, in one last ditch effort to kill me, have I got enough to see it off? And sometimes the answer is no. So Radiowaves, however, not opting for that. With the double expand, he can get back into this game if he's given time to do so. And the way to do it is to just try and, you know, mineral saturate as quickly as you can, and then just lean on the R button, or indeed lean on the Z button. You know, you've got three hatches worth of production with Queen spitting. You can get just vast numbers of lings out and get them up into your opponent's base and just be as annoying as possible as, you know, with those. Okay, this Nidus is ready, nothing loaded into it, but I do like a Nidus play, and I wonder where the Nidus will come down. They're tricky against Zerg because, you know, you get that creep coverage, so very hard to sneak a Nidus into your opponent's base, but somewhere like this would do, but can't really get an Overlord into position without Radiowaves noticing. Arguably, if it doesn't know that is there, you could sneak that. Yeah, it would have to go the whole way around the back here before you'd get that into position, and it's questionable whether you're gaining much from doing that, you know. Let's take a quick peek at the army supply. We can see that Deathlake has got the advantage that we expected. There's an income advantage, which, you know, it's that income advantage that will be regressed fairly. Sorry, I'm not even looking at anything interesting. I was busy for a second there. But, you know, I'm back in control. That mineral advantage, Radiowaves can definitely do something about. You know, if he just saturates these straight away, if he just holds down the D button, and, you know, rallies all the workers that pop out onto these, he can get a pretty hefty income up and going course, Deathlake himself also on 3 bases now, so he also, this is reasonably saturated. This is reasonably saturated. So, yeah, so Radiowaves can't actually overtake him in terms of income at this stage. So, that's not what I was after. The army supply, neither player letting up on production. So it looks to me like at some point not too far away there is going to be an almighty battle. +1 missile attacks are done for Deathlake, but 1-1 is done for Radiowaves. So he has Carapace as well, so he's definitely got an upgrade advantage. Enough of an upgrade to counter this. He's got a significantly smaller army. No is the short answer. It isn't enough. There are roaches and hydras in that army. In this army there are roaches and lings. Yeah, +1 speedlings against hydras actually aren't bad, because they, hydras are pretty squishy, and speedlings are, can just be pretty nasty. So it's maybe not as imbalanced as you might think, but if this is well positioned with the roaches at the front and the hydras dealing out damage at the back, then it'll be an absolute massacre. There's actually enough lings here to engage these lings, which will mean the hydras won't be touched. The melee that will go on at the front will keep the hydras safe, and if you can keep those hydras safe, the DPS from these things is absolutely brutal. So let's see what happens. Very quickly we can see that it's not really leveled up a little bit. The difference is still about 30 supply, but you didn't want to just waste those lings like that. That was an error. You wanted them to be the meat shield for your ranged units here, and that's no longer going to be the case. So this is now much more even than it was, and this is beginning to look a little bit scary. Now the upgrade advantage that Radiowaves has is he has 1-2, and actually that is enough. That is enough to make the difference, and this engagement is good. The lings are in there in the face of these units. He's got the concave, and he's just going to crush this. So, Deathlake, you had a bigger army, and with good positioning, you could have won that. But a couple of mistakes made. First, you sent the lings in first to their death, and second, you weren't. You're in this narrow position, whereas Radiowaves is spread across here for maximum surface area. That did not go well for Deathlake. That upgrade advantage as well, absolutely brutal. So, any further upgrades coming from Deathlake? Yes, there is, but it's not going to finish for a little while yet, but he does have an army advantage again. Oh no, he doesn't. It's actually pretty even, but a lot of Radiowaves' army is at home, so he can certainly kill this lot. So Radiowaves, hold off. Don't... oh, that's very nice. Roaches regenerate health. Look how quickly their health goes up when they're underground. It's utterly, it's almost rude. So this army supply now in favour of Radiowaves. He has an upgrade advantage. He is producing Ravagers. This could go very badly. He needs to hit this. He needs to destroy this section of the army before it can join up with the rest. Radiowaves, why aren't you running away from this? Don't stand and fight this. You can't win. Fire the Corrosive Biles. Let it buy you time to run. Oh, Corrosive Bile impacts on Hydra is brutal. But yeah, run this stuff home. Send the bulk of your army out to meet it if necessary, but keep these units alive. Don't throw away units if you can avoid it. Now let's check this supply again in favor of Deathlake. Both of these players are pretty busy. A lurker den coming down for Radiowaves. Lurkers are just savage, so there's nothing wrong with that. Some of Deathlake's army is actually loaded into the Nidus network, and I didn't hear a Nidus come down, so there's no exit for that, so they're definitely not doing you any good in there. Overlord party. That's a lot of overlords. Yeah. A lot of overlords. But hey. So, supply is in favour of Deathlake still. Radiowaves has 2-2 in terms of upgrades compared to 0-2. all of this stuff into the Nidus network. Where's it going to come out? He doesn't have an exit yet, but you've already put it in. I don't know about that at all. You know, wait until the exit point is at least building. Radiowaves, oblivious to the Nidus tech, I think, doesn't know that that exists. So this Nidus could really come as a surprise. The supply, a significant advantage for Deathlake, but it's all loaded into a Nidus network. Here it comes. Oh, stuff's going in, and what the hell? I don't know, man. He's lost a hatch. He has got enough to kill this, though. But it's a lot more. It's overwhelmingly Hydra, really, isn't it? I don't know, man. Where are the roaches? There were some roaches a while ago, weren't there? Yeah, there they are. You know, Hydras are great. They need a meat shield in front of them generally. This is pretty expensive, but effective. So he has seen that off with the power, the sort of damage output from the Hydras, but you know, in general, you don't want Hydras on their own. You need stuff to soak up fire in front of them. Hydras don't, you know, they don't take hits very well, and they do not regenerate. You know, look at the speed of regeneration on that compared to how quickly we saw those burrowed roaches going up. So yeah, so Deathlake now finds himself with a substantial army advantage. Radiowaves appears to have taken his foot off the gas a bit. Look, he's got all this money in the bank. All that money is, you know, that's pretty obscene. He has got 3 hatches compared to his opponent's 2, and here are just larvae sitting, not doing anything. You don't win games with money. You need units. Okay, here comes the Nidus. So Radiowaves will know about this. It's on his creep, but he cannot attack it until it forms. You can't attack this as it sits there. Now you can have. And what's going to come out? Just a handful of Hydras. So is this just a diversion? It looks like maybe it is. This bunch of Hydras, though, I don't think Radiowaves has got an answer. And I'm not sure why. I think he's been sat on his hands a little bit. He's got 4 grand in the bank. He's got 500 gas in the bank. But what he doesn't have is units, and unfortunately the units, the Hydras, the roaches that are about to pop out are popping out from 3 separate locations, so they're not going to be able to put a dent in this, really. I was pretty sure a lurker den finished up, and you know, I don't know why he didn't have a couple of lurkers burrowed defensively here, because that could have made a huge difference. This Ling run by is great. But is it going to be enough? I don't know. He's going to lose everything in his men. He has sent workers down here, so he can drop a hatch, but ultimately what he needs to be dropping is a spawning pool, because he's about to lose all of his tech. The Lings down here are going to mop up this, but really they need a bit of micro. You know, they're wasting time killing they're killing a larva. That's absolutely pointless. You need to get them in here. They need to be damaging tech. They need to be damaging production. Now they are probably going to be killed now with this sort of batch of Hydras that's come back out of the Nidus net. I think this is over. Well, it is over, isn't it? It is over. So a bit of a weird game. To be honest, I'm surprised that Deathlake won that. There was definitely an opportunity for Radiowaves to win that in the middle of the game. Deathlake is the correct winner. After the failed proxy hatch, Deathlake should have won, and there was definitely an opportunity for him to win in about the mid-game. But he kind of squandered that opportunity, and you know, having done so, it did look like Radiowaves was going to complete the comeback, but didn't happen. GG, man. So it looks like we are into a decider, and I really need to go to bed, but you know, a decider,